Who is the face of the Premier League?
Oh, I didn't even.
Oh, you didn't think about it, did you? I mean, I set you a task. Is this what you like at school?
One job. I mean, look. I mean, Erling Haaland, you have to say, is one of the best strikers on the planet. Mm-hmm. So he's definitely. I mean, Mo Salah with him going, and Kevin De Bruyne is not around anymore. I remember we kind of touched on this on Saturday, didn't we? And I didn't mention someone that I'm definitely going to mention now. I'm still thinking why you're not mentioning him. Yeah, go on. Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
What that guy has done in an era where United have been really an average Premier League side, which again I go back to the United side that I played against. Again, I'll mention that sort of midfield of Beckham, Keane, Scholes, Giggs. I mean, that was just unbelievable. Winning Champions League, winning Premier League regularly, winning FA Cups. But for him to do what he's done in the post-Sir Alex Ferguson era, where the shirt has just weighed far too heavy for so many talented players, and then it looks like they either haven't got the right attitude, and it might be they haven't got the attitude, or they just can't handle the pressure of playing for United and trying to get back to where they once were. For Bruno Fernandes to stand head and shoulders above anybody else in a United shirt, for me, gives extra kudos. His numbers stand up, not just as the best player that United have had in the last decade, but as up there with the best Premier League players. So I actually think, although Erling Haaland is probably top 3 strikers in the world, I actually would argue that Bruno Fernandes, and whether he's the face of the Premier League, I'm not sure. Maybe there aren't as many faces, and that's the point, as there used to be. But I would say he's one of the best Premier League players of the last decade.
Do you think, though, in a way, and I'm talking football as a whole, that maybe faces aren't there as much? Do you know what I mean? Because you could list some of the Manchester United players of the old, likewise Chelsea, for example. But if you look across the whole of football, I know you can still bring in your Ronaldo and Messi, Mbappe, maybe a Vinicius Junior, Bellingham with Real Madrid, all these sorts of things. But do you think we're lacking in general?
In the world?
Yeah.
I think we probably are.
Yeah.
I think, again, the football's gone so athletic. And I thought it did when sort of I finished football. It's gone even more. When I first started playing, it was can you play and then can you run? By the end of the time, it was like if you can't run, it doesn't even matter if you can play. You won't last. And it's gone even more so. I think the level, the technicality as well as the physicality of the Premier League has gone on much more in the last 20 years. But actually, it's not allowed the individual flair. You still get the Thierry Henry, the Bergkamp, the Zola, the Cantona. I think they'd stand out, but I think there'd be fewer. And it's all about what the coach wants. The managers have become more important than ever. It's still ultimately about the players. Pep Guardiola couldn't manage Accrington Stanley and take them to the Champions League with the greatest of respect. But the managers have become much more important. And it's almost like centre-halves. They're not taught first and foremost to defend. They're taught to play out from the back. Do they communicate in the way that, say, a John Terry, a Rio Ferdinand, a Vidic would have done? I look at it and I see goalkeepers coming out and almost clashing with their defenders, and clearly no one talked there. Basic communication, basic leadership. We talk about Chelsea, and we probably will do later. There's not enough leaders. There's not enough leaders, I think, genuinely in the Premier League. So yes, absolutely. There aren't enough superstars around the world. But the top superstars, like Ronaldo and Messi, generally will go to Real Madrid or Barcelona. Look at Vinny Junior, Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe. Where are they?
Real Madrid, indeed. So I suppose, to broaden the question, what is entertainment for you when it comes to football right now?
Well, I mean, entertainment now is different to when I was playing. When I was playing, it was all about winning. And if I'm a sort of like a fan going to buying a season ticket and watching my team week in, week out, and travelling in the way that they do, and it's incredible how they somehow find the money to do that, the fans, it would be about winning. Winning is the be all and end all. But if you can win with style, then that makes it even more enjoyable. And actually, even if you lose, I remember being at West Ham a few times and we'd lose some games 4-3, we'd maybe win 3-2. I remember going down to 9 men one time. I think Steve Lomas and Ian Wright got sent off. And in the end, we got hammered by Leeds 5-1. We got clapped off because we actually gave absolutely everything and we put on a really good performance. And in the end, just in the last sort of 10, 15 minutes or whatever, they score goals. So it's about giving absolutely everything. That's all the fans ultimately want to see. But the way that football's gone now, it looks like they're not trying, but actually it's become so technical that that's what the managers want them to do.
Yeah. It's an interesting one, isn't it? And it does come also down to the level of maybe the team that you support or your team's aspirations, for example. So if I bring in my team, Brentford, who I know now, this is our 5th season in the Premier League. We're loving life in the Premier League. But for me, sometimes what I deem as entertainment might be a little bit what you said there about that defeat you had at West Ham, about sometimes giving teams we obviously would deem better than us in the Premier League just a good game. We might not win it. And I remember there was a game a couple of seasons ago at the GTEC. We lost 1-0 at home to Chelsea. But my God, how we did not score in the second half. We completely battered them in the second half.
I don't believe you.
It's absolutely true. And Ben Chilwell, you know how things stand out in your memory? Ben Chilwell was being interviewed afterwards and he even said it was hell out there. And I took such a compliment from that. And that's the things that I see as entertainment. Little moments that you've actually thought to yourself, we actually challenged them. We didn't win the game and it's disappointing we didn't get something out of it. But my goodness, did we give him a game?
Yeah.
That for me, I just take such highs from that. Of course, you take the highs from the winning as well. Of course you do. And this season has been brilliant, as you already rightly mentioned, that when no one would have given Brentford a chance at the start of this season with everything that happened.
You're still 3 points off a Champions League place.
Yeah, I don't want to be
with 7 games to go.
I know, and I don't want to be a doom monger, but I'm just not sure. I'm not even sure we'll finish as high as we are.
But just that
at
sentence,
this present moment.
the fact that we're talking about
it's incredible.
In April.
Absolutely, it's incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And there will always be amazing results that we've had in the last few years in the Premier League. Winning at the Etihad like we did 2-1 just before the World Cup of Qatar. Though I was there and it was the most amazing victory to witness. But as I say, it's just moments sometimes that you can come away thinking, yeah, we didn't win it, but my goodness, we were excellent.
Yeah, and do you know what? In terms of style, I know a lot of people, and I loved watching Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, but I actually appreciated Pep Guardiola's City more. Yeah. Because of you can see the way that the training has gone into it, the way that these players are being asked to play pure football out from the back, little 1-2s, even not in their own box. And I think there's been some managers, including De Zerbi, who has perhaps took it even further. Pep didn't mind Edison knocking it long up to Erling Haaland. It's not a problem. But I just think during those 3-4 years where City were on top, that football was football in its purest form and the football that I would have loved to have played.
We've had a few messages coming. I'm going to quickly read them. Face of the Premier League. This one from Dave in Cardiff suggests Dominic Szoboszlai. More exciting than most players this season.
He's been Liverpool's best player for sure.
Yeah.
Is
very
he the
much
face
so.
of the Premier League?
I'm not. He's not the first name that you think of.
No.
But he certainly has been.
But top player.
Yeah, one of the
Liverpool's
standouts
best
for
player
Liverpool.
this season.
Yeah.
The standout.
Gareth says football is in danger of becoming like NFL as a watch. Players in fear of making mistakes, sideways, backways, managers wanting to control. Just let the players play.
Agree.
He says.
To a point.
George also says, I'll tell you why I believe the Premier League has gone down. The majority of Premier League players are so overrated and so overpaid. Rarely do you see a striker hit the ball on target. The majority of the Premier League teams can go the whole match and have just 4 shots on target. Is that football to admire? No. And he's been a Man United fan since 1968, he says.
He's seen it all. I'll tell you what's interesting, when Bayern Munich have come out and said it, that actually they're going to go sort of down the route of sprinkle superstars and then the rest are sort of young academy guys coming through the ranks. So in other words, that kind of middle rank player, for PSR reasons as well, perhaps won't get the money that they have in the last sort of 10 years. So the superstars they'll still go for, but then they'll try and get the rest, and that's where the academy comes in, or identifying that young talent.